So welcome everybody to another instalment of the Australian Joomla user group with our virtual sessions. Tonight we've got Tim Plummer talking about, or giving you a walkthrough of Joomla 4's new workflow feature. Tim did a session at Joomla Day Australia of an early version of that, but there's been a lot of changes since last year's conference and now the beta version coming out. So it's certainly a very different feature and a nice new one to have access to going forward. And Tim can explain how he's going to be using it when he starts his presentation in a few minutes. Some quick announcements. So the Joomla Australia Site Awards, Jeff will talk about that a little bit when he comes on. Probably at the end of this session now, but the applications for the Australian Joomla Site Awards close this Sunday. So if you've got an interest in submitting an application for that, jump on joomla.org.au and you'll see the Site Awards menu and you can enter that in. Next month on October 17, keep on saying that date like I know what it is. Yes, that's correct. Saturday, October 17 is a global Joomla bug fixing event called Pizza Bugs and Fun. And so that is going to see ideally hundreds of people around the world all doing different things like patch testing, bug fixing, translations and documentation amongst a range of things. So if you're interested in that, feel free to get in touch with Stuart or myself. We're talking regularly with the coordinators of that in Europe. And so there's a few things that have been put together over the next couple of weeks on that. If you go to pizza-bugs-fun.com, that's the website for the event. And there's a survival kit that they're calling it, where you can, if you do the sort of pre-registration tasks in the next week, they'll send you out a kit that's all branded with the Bugs and Fun bits and pieces, and that includes a souvenir pizza cutter, because with it being COVID, the COVID safe version of the event this year is that they're encouraging everybody to make your own pizza at home and share photos of the pizzas during the weekend, and then from there get around, see pizzas around the world. I did make the entire Joomla committee globally. The Joomla, everybody cringed when I said that Vegemite pizza was a thing the other day, especially the Italians. So so there's a bit of shock and horror there. I haven't made one for them yet, but I might do that on the weekend just to make a few people cringe. So I think that's our basic announcements for tonight. So
I'm unmuted.
You're unmuted, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm sitting in the dark, so it's a little point turning the camera on. What was I going to say? I was just going to give a quick spool for those who haven't as yet submitted sites for the Joomla Site Awards. I think the count of, being that said, I'm one of the people who haven't put in a couple yet, but the count that was already submitted, I think we're up to about 8 or 9. Obviously, we need more than that. I'd like to see, 20 or so each category gets a fair submission. The other thing, I don't know whether it was made clear, there's a community category there, which is for people who volunteer for communities and they look after their websites and that. I know Greg, for instance, looks after the motorcycle one and things like that. Now, they can submit those sites under that category. So it doesn't have to be the prettiest site or the most technical site or whatever. If it's done for a community base, then that's what it's going to be judged on. So, you'll be up against whatever you're submitting against, I guess. By the same token, and I'll have to double check this, so don't take it as gospel like I did last time, is that I do believe if you're commercial, the community the community site is not a category that you could really submit against because it's aimed for the volunteer market of Joomla and to give them an area that they can actually submit to on their reduced resources and everything else they have.
So are you saying that Patrick can submit to the Australia Joomla website?
No, Patrick's commercial.
Nah.
No, so Michael could. I know Michael's done it commercially, sort of, not really. Yes.
My point is, someone. Let's use an example. Greg does the motorcycle club, so Greg can submit his motorcycle club to the Joomla Awards under the community category because A, he doesn't get paid, and B, he doesn't do Joomla for his profession.
Oh, geez. So you disqualified. Okay. All right.
And Jeff, can you just mention, because Bjorn, who's in Norway,
can't submit a site.
So it is an Australian-only awards this year.
Australasian, yes, Australasian, but Australasian only covers certain islands like New Zealand off the coast of Australia and a little way out.
We're going to get the bugs out of the system first before we open it up to the rest of the world.
I thought actually speaking with the guys from not Tampa Bay, from Florida last year. They were really interested when we ran last year. I thought they'd have one up and running by now.
What, their own competition?
Their own competition. They were really enthused by it. So,
yeah.
But maybe the COVID day over there is pretty heavy, so it might have slowed them down a little. What else was I going to say? The other thing to clarify, I know when I spoke last time, I actually give the wrong information on this, and I got a slap around the head since by the boss of this site awards. And that is that each site can only be submitted to one category, but you can submit as many sites as you like. Each one of those sites can be submitted to either the same or a different category, depending where you think it best fits. Is that clear as mud?
Unfortunately, it is.
Good. So what I'm saying is, say I want to submit 3 sites, I can only submit each one of those 3 sites to one category. Now I could choose 3 different categories that I think each one would fit under, or I might think they're all marketing sites and therefore I would submit them all under marketing.
Okay. Yep, that's clear.
So it's one category for each entry.
For each site entry, that's correct.
Yes.
But there's no restriction on the number of sites.
So I could put 3 in community and 4 in marketing.
Well, you can't put any in community, but yes. You're on the right track there, Patrick.
Well, I don't know what the other 5 categories are.
Well, one's marketing.
I want to call shenanigans on that. I think that's not right, Jeff. I think we need to have a private chat, because I think it's poor that just because Patrick makes money at his job, he's not allowed to put it under submit community. Anything, even if he's volunteering his time.
My problem is, I agree what you're saying, in essence, because I actually do volunteer work for some as well, where I look after their site for no money. So therefore, yeah, I agree, and I think we'll amend that for next year. But the way it was written for this year is that it was based for all the people. Now, John Wilson up here, for instance, in Brisbane, does 3 or 4 community sites. He's retired. And I do believe he's going to be entering some of those. So this year it will go under basically that you're not an agency. So if you run an agency, then you won't be able to submit. But I do agree with what you're saying. If you give your own time to support a community, then yeah, basically it should fit under that. And we'll look at that for next year. We're still refining. Remember, this is the second year around. We have changed judges to 3 judges this year, who I believe should be the 3 of the best judges, which would be, I can't pronounce her name, from Italy. Mick, you should be good at her name.
Isn't it Chiara?
Chiara, yeah. She's keen again. We've got Brian Tiemann and then we've also going to have, who's the third one? Jeez. Oh, Jessica from US. Even though Jessica technically is working with a different CMS at the moment, she's still very wrapped up in Joomla, and it's still her favourite site. And she knows so much about the area she's marking in, which is usability. And that's it. Any other questions while we're on that? Oh, one I forgot to mention. The reason I'm mentioning this now with some form of urgency is that officially the closing date is next Sunday. So midnight Sunday, entries will be closed off. And obviously, if we haven't got that many entries, then there's going to be more chance of winning awards, I guess. But obviously, the more sites we've got for the judges to look at, the better it is.
Hey, Jeff, is someone sending an email reminder to everyone on the
we could.
list?
Now, that was, oh, thanks, Tim. You just reminded me of something sort of side parallel to that, but would be perfect for this. We've gone through all the meetups now and asked anybody to join this new meetup group, correct? That means, in theory, that should have cut all the deadwood out of the old meetups.
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Might have brought some of the deadwood across, but I don't know. We've actually got a list. Yeah, we should send out to the. I'm just looking at what the list in the back end is. 2,328 users.
Geez, that's a lot to come across.
Well, that's in the that's the combined.
Oh, that was the combined list. Yes, that's the one that's.
Yes, that's the list we haven't sent back out to get people to decommission.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's like Queensland has, you forget how many members, 300 and something members or something, but we have about 30 that are really members. And I was hoping that we would decommission the actual meetups themselves, and therefore that would kill off the dead mail out lists.
Yep.
In theory. Any other questions anyway on awards, I guess? Apart from that, the mail out idea is a great one. I'll talk to Patrick tomorrow about that, and I'll get some stuff put together for it. I guess there's no reason we can't send it out to that 2,000 and something. My big thing is I run out of some time this year. There's still a lot of scraping to be done in the back end. There's a lot of agencies we still don't have on our books, and we don't have their address and so on that I found. And that's just here in Queensland at the moment. So there's a lot of agencies using it. I think we could get them in with the awards, basically.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that. The Australian Web Industry Awards had a lunchtime session. Sorry, the Australian Web Industry Association had a lunchtime session last week on how to go about winning awards, which I didn't. I've got to watch the replay, but because it's the Webby Awards in Australia, step one is fork out several $100s to be an entrant. So that's something that we're not facing at the moment for this.
No, that's true. It does cost some, but we've got a sponsor for it, so the sponsor covers our costs. If it did grow, obviously the cost would grow. So, but that's a good thing from where I'm seeing it.
Yeah. But the Webby Awards, I think, have some gala dinner up on the Gold Coast or something.
Oh yeah, they're quite glitzy. We actually scraped some of their ideas this year as well, so that's helped formulate our new direction.
Yes. So, cool. Yeah. What else have we got on the list? Phil, you could probably explain some. Do a quick pitch on the types of people that you're looking for joining developer teams and the bug squad and patch testing and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, just anyone who's got some time that's enthusiastic. I think people rule themselves out because they're not coders, but actually, for example, the CMS release team, you're taking larger sites, then upgrading them with the newest release, and then obviously not live, but development, and then seeing if there's any breaks or problems. So it's just someone who knows their way around. Administrators are absolutely ideal for it, so they don't have to code at all, and then report back to the team if you find that suddenly you can't create users, delete users, or there's a button that used to work doesn't seem to work, and then we will kind of pile in and see if it's an issue from the latest update. So, and there's a lot of that going on at the moment. So last night, a lot of us were testing the journey from 3.9.21 to 3.10, from 3.10 to 4.03 beta. Yeah, no, the 3 beta. 4 will come out at the same time as 3.10, but you have to do it to that one. So, but there was no coding involved at all. But it's just lots of, we were doing it on big live sites. And finding a few little issues and then seeing if it was, life-changing or not. So that is really important work, and it saves a lot of bugs going out there. And we need, the more the merrier, because the more likely you are to have some component that I haven't got, and it just happens to not work well with that component. And then we can contact the developer and say, look, we're just testing the latest version, got a bit of an issue, can you fix it? Or actually, it's down to Joomla, we need to fix it. So that's the CMS release team, and there's a lot of involvement there. We've got a lot of requests going out at the moment. I've been putting them out through Twitter in the dev channel. So if you're on Twitter, sign up to the Development Joomla Twitter channel. There's 17,000 people on there. And I'm putting out basically an issue of the day for people to, if they're coders, to fix. So these are all issues that are sitting in the tracker that need to be fixed before Joomla 4 can go live. So, if anyone wants Joomla 4 to go live this year, please, we need those issues fixed, in which case, the more the merrier that pile on. But with anything, if you want to get involved, the entry level is, just turning up on a Glip channel and saying, hi, I'm around, what can I do to help? And if you find that you're not getting a response, get on Glip or message myself or Patrick, both of us. And we'll make sure that we can find you a team and get some people that will, show you the ropes. Is that enough?
That's enough. Yep. So I've actually been now finally added after a couple of months of asking to the global volunteer engagement team. So be prepared for me to start tapping some people on the shoulders. If you've actually reached out to a Joomla team and not had an answer back, I know Stuart's got a few that he's reached out to in the past, 3. So if you've got teams where you've tried to make contact and not had any contact back, let me know. One of the things that we're starting with chasing that up is actually finding out who's not responding to volunteers, and we're going to try and fix that system up so that instead of it just being emails out to a couple of people, that it actually goes into a help desk system. So we might have to steal Tim's ideas from tonight. And then what that'll do is allow us to not only put people in touch with the teams that they're requesting to join, but also over time we'll expand that to being able to look at which skill sets people have and then try and put them in touch with teams that are in need of that particular skill set. So one at the moment that's being looked at, being needed, is anybody that knows Vue.javascript, which is for the new Joomla 4 Media Manager. For 4.1, there's a whole lot of enhancements planned, but at the moment, nobody active really has a detailed Vue.js knowledge base there. So if you happen to have that one, then you'll be scripted up straight away. But quite often there might be things that you advertise as your skill set, but also have things that are in the background that we don't know about from how you deal with the user group. And that might mean that you can stand up and put your head up to say, yeah, I can also help with this. So, yeah. So currently the total number of Joomla members as such is 102, I think, in the election that's out at the moment. And that's come down a bit over the years. So the plans ideally are to get all the teams filled with people that are doing work, and that should bring it up to probably about 200 people that are actively engaged in the project. And so there's plenty of work to be done and plenty of jobs for anybody that wants to help out. And even if you
say that if anyone in the past has kind of come forward and then had a bit of a cold shoulder or anything, please do come back again, because there has been, we've all talked about that there's been a bit of toxicity in the past, and that is being really jumped on. And if anyone finds that they're having a problem, and there have been some, they come to me and I've then brought it up in production, and production's really keen for there to be, absolutely new people doing their first pull requests, getting enthusiasm and support and help. And the Bugs and Fun at Home channel, I think, has really become that. With, a lot of fun on Saturday, but a lot of education and learning, and it spins out through the rest of the week. So, there are places in Joomla where you can come. I mean, my team, I didn't realise as team leader that the email, I didn't even know there was a contact bit on the volunteers, and it was going to someone else's email address who had left. So it was only when someone said, "Why are you not responding personally to me?" I was like, "Oh, wow." So got that all changed. I, can now get it. These things happen. Don't take it as an insult. It's the handing over. So, but yeah, please do come back. And I mean, Joomla 4 is coming. It's the ideal time to join the project. We're all totally hopeless, as it's all new to us. So everybody's in the same boat.
Cool. All right. So any other questions? Anyone else got any announcements? If you want to stay up until 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, the London user group meet at 7 o'clock their time. You're interviewing Justine, who's the new. So the Open Source Matters election has just finished in the last few weeks, and Justine is the new vice president, and she's from Uganda. And the London guys are going to be having an interview with her as the user group tonight, their time. So if you want to get up early or stay up all night, you can catch that at 4 a.m. Australian time. And then if you miss it, then you'll have it on YouTube, I believe, Phil. Yep. So, yeah, cool. And replay of this will be up probably within the week. Is that? I don't know what Stuart's timeline's like this week, but no, you're muted, so I missed that.
2 days.
2 days, cool. All right. Cool. Any other announcements?
I'd just like to say to Tim that I linked there was a question this week on Joomla Stack Exchange that mentioned about workflows, and I had thrown on your presentation. I got Patrick to pass me the link, and of course I wasn't qualified to answer the question, but there's your chance to get in there and get some workflow, dip your toe in the water. And just as Phil was saying, to anyone that's had a bad experience in the past with any level of Stack Exchange, have another go. Times have changed. Things are better than they used to be. Joomla Stack Exchange is, of course, the water's warm. It's always nice. No one's going to be doing a dirty there. But what's new for me in the last month is now I've sort of changed tack. I'm now tending to all Joomla tagged questions on Stack Overflow, and I'm diverting them. I'm deflecting all business to Joomla Stack Exchange. If you have a Joomla question, don't put it on Stack Overflow. Create your Joomla Stack Exchange account if you don't already have one, and post your question there. Because if you don't, and it seems like it's appropriately placed on Joomla Stack Exchange, I'm going to speak to moderators on Stack Overflow and say, migrate it over, because we need it. About a month and a half ago, I posted I had this big rant about how Joomla Stack Exchange can't, experience growth the way it should, because Joomla Forum is huge and has been around since 2005 and has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of threads. So it has gravity. And Stack Overflow has gravity because it's one of the biggest websites in the world. And it has 3 times as many Joomla questions on it than Joomla Stack Exchange, which only came out in 2014. So to combat that, the idea is to stop putting new Joomla content on Stack Overflow, put it all on Joomla Stack Exchange. In the past week and a half, I've probably brought over, I don't know, 20 new questions from people that had never asked a question in Joomla Stack Exchange before, or they didn't even have an account. So I'm bringing it over. I'm just going to load up the cart. So if anyone is willing to answer questions, please have a fresh look. I'm trying to drive a lot more volume, get a lot more activity going on. And I'm not as aware with the CMS and all of its bells and whistles as those who might be part of the build team, and those have been with it for, you know, a decade. So I'm relying on you wise people to come and solve the problems. I'm just going to keep funneling traffic to the site, help this thing grow. And the whole motivation behind this is that Joomla Stack Exchange seems to be stuck in beta, which means it's not able to unlock meaningful features that makes it a full-fledged site. And so to get there, we have to have more content. We need to have 10 questions a day. So don't feel like you're being an annoyance if you have a question. It's actually something that we need. We need people to say, oh, I got stuck at work today doing this Joomla task. Should I ask the question or not? Yes, you should definitely ask the question. Put it on there, put it out there, give us a chance. And if it falls flat, nobody helps you, I'm sorry. But at least you did your part by contributing the question. This is the only way that it's going to grow. And then what I'll probably be pushing for in the next month is asking people if you have ever posted a Joomla question on Stack Overflow in the past, like even if it was all the way Joomla 1.5, all the way back. What is possible is if you create a Joomla Stack Exchange account, if you don't already have one, make one, and you flag your own question. You can flag your own question to say, I would like to migrate this to Joomla Stack Exchange. Then the moderators will take the necessary actions to be able to do that. So by doing that, if we can get enough people siphoning content, Joomla content, over to Joomla Stack Exchange, then we'll turn the tide. Because I don't think Joomla Stack Exchange will ever be able to outrun Joomla Forum. I mean, I think Joomla Forum is just too big. But what it really must do is outperform Stack Overflow. It must. Because Stack Overflow, I'm watching the questions. They don't get answered. People are snarky. People who don't understand Joomla, or the CMS in general, they don't know how to answer it. They don't have the intimate knowledge that says, oh, you know what, you can solve that with these lower level languages. But they don't know the helper functions. They don't know how to use the really clever features within Joomla to solve tasks. So that's why all of these questions need to be brought over. So that's the new agenda. So if anybody can help with that, that'd be great.
I'll put it out on the dev Twitter account today. It's got 17,000.
We can probably have you? I think I spoke to you about a Joomla magazine article at one point as well, Mick. So the deadline for September's just been hit. So yeah, I'll talk to you about it for October or November.
Well, I think maybe, Patrick, what would be great and that would make my job a lot simpler is if anybody listening along tonight, if they ever had questions about what is Joomla Stack Exchange or what do they want to know or what's confusing, if there was a list, if you could interview me or ask what's interesting or valuable, then it would be much easier for me to frame up answers than it is for me to just dream up a whole story.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, I might work out an interview there for.
Yeah, happy to engage with that.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
cool.
I've got almost no time.
yeah, that's right. All right. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Now I've got to remember. Oh, Nathan, that's right. You're next month, aren't you? No, you're muted.
Yeah, apparently so. Feeling a bit under the pump having watched Tim's presentations. So there we go. Just going to have a deep dive into some membership subscription software. So we'll see how that goes.
And so that's going to be Membership Pro as
Membership Pro from Joomla Nation, I think it's mostly called. I'll do a bit of an overview of it, and then 3 kind of case studies of how it can be used, different ways for different kind of subscription models.
Yep. Excellent. I knew there was a reason I'd be watching next month, and that's refreshed my memory. So that's, I'm just going to look up what the date is for everyone for that. So that's on Tuesday, the 20th of October at 6 p.m. Cool. All right. Well,
I just thought of something, Patrick. Is Nikki still on, or did Nikki go?
No,
I'm still here.
Yeah. So Nikki and I have recently watched this. Was it on Netflix?
Yes,
What was that called?
The Social Dilemma.
It is a good watch.
It's a bit of a cracker.
So about how it's ruining humanity, about how
it makes me feel very guilty about running ads.
Yeah.
It does, because you're kind of contributing to the downfall of society by the ad-based business model.
Yes, I did think when all the grants came out for COVID that there were several that came out that were really purely designed to put money in Facebook and Google's pocket, as to how they sort of were set up to say, okay, well, promote yourself by doing ad spend and go from there. So yes, I can see how that could cause a social dilemma.
Bit of a worry. All right, I have to run. Thanks again, Tim. That was awesome.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks very much.
All right, we'll catch you all next month, if not on one of the other communication channels. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick.
Thanks.
See you, everyone.